90 Day Fierce, Happily Ever After. Star Russ Mayfield has had it up to here with so-called fans who want to shame his marriage. Recently, Paola Mayfield clarified that she's still with Russ, and she really let some followers have it for their negative takes on their relationship and on her career. Now, Russ is following in her footsteps and telling followers exactly how he feels about their unsolicited commentary. Russ begins, "There's much more to me than what you see on TV. That is usually the case. Reality television works through intelligible, often simple, storylines. The presence of cameras alone is going to impact a narrative, and editing does the rest. I'm honestly not the jealous type," Russ insists. Paola Mayfield and Russ Mayfield, Valentine's Day 2018. He is famously uncomfortable with Paola's modeling work. Russ does admit, "I'd had preferred to keep my wife's curves a mystery, especially when it comes to the lusting creeps out there." That last part sounds more like he's protective of her. Admittedly, the bit about her mysterious curves sounds more like guarding her jealously, though. "I accept and am proud of my wife for the beautiful woman she is," Russ continues. Good for him. And for her. Russ makes it clear that he has no doubts of her fidelity, saying, "And she's all mine." But like most relationships, Russ says, "We find ourselves with differing opinions at times and love costs and takes effort for it to work. That is why they argue. Many couples argue, unfortunately. I am tired of the comments from the marriage experts stating I deserve better, my wife doesn't respect me, or she only loves me for my money and so on and so forth," Russ says. Russ goes on to remind followers that 90 Day Fierce, Happily Ever After cannot, by its very nature, show the whole story of his marriage. The mere glimpse of our lives shown doesn't always show our best moments, Russ writes. What viewers see, Russ says, are but impressions and expressions from our cultural differences and how we are coming together as an even stronger couple. That's a beautiful and powerful story. It's just not the whole story. If I or my story bores you and creating a mocking meme or mocking comment of me and / or my wife is how you make yourself feel better about your unshared and perfect life," he says. To those people, Russ says, "Well, thank you for your benightedness as it only spices us up even more." Yes, Russ wrote benightedness ironically. His diction in the post is very goofy at times. So go on, Russ says. And keep hating and commenting to better your dull lives because your opinions are meaningless in my eyes. That's an understandable point of view, but perhaps not polite. But he wasn't really trying to be. But you're only hurting yourself hiding behind your keyboard, Russ warns. Which proves nothing to you or me. That's true for every troll. Especially when I have yet to meet someone to end a conversation with me with such nescience and mockery, Russ says. Again, his vocabulary is absolutely correct but does not quite match the intended tone of his post. The results are worth a chuckle or two. "I am proud of where I come from," writes the Oklahoma native. "And where I am going, and that's with the love of my life. That is very precious." Russ reminds followers that Paola is his wife, whom I love for better or for worse. For better, surely. I am not perfect, Russ admits. And only look for support from my followers, not hypocritical and judgmental ignorance seeking like attention. If he wanted marital advice, he'd probably go elsewhere than social media. It's interesting that Russ singles out the people who shame Paola and think that Russ is the good guy when the couple argues. We so often see people shaming Russ for being, seemingly, on camera, insecure about his wife's modeling work. but sometimes it is easier to see yourself get hate than it is to see people say negative things about someone whom you love. That is, perhaps, why he was lashing out at those who speak ill of his beautiful and talented wife.